Hey everybody, it's Tammy C. Walker, the owner of Dreams Are a Reality. You all already know I created this channel to provide light and love. I felt compelled to do a video after this election. I know it's somber day for some people, and I got a lot to talk about. So I'm just gonna jump in. I might even forego my little theme song because I'm not feeling themish. Just want to jump in. Before I get started, hit like and subscribe. I'm doing this video. I am a licensed clinical social worker. My job is to fight for the injustice, to supply a space of calmness, to supply a space of serenity. I do that at my school. That's one thing my company talks about, creating a safe space for our students. Um, I'm a therapist by night, evening. I'm a therapist on Saturday, Sunday. I'm a therapist. I'm a clinical social worker. That's my job, to calm anxiety, to talk to clients when they have grief and depression. And it's a tough role. I'm glad I picked it, but it's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. But what happens when the therapist is down and out and we don't have the wherewithal to help our clients? It happens. And so we still have to forge through. So that's kind of why, if you know me personally, I may come off numb or act like I don't care or nonchalant. It's a defense mechanism that I had to use as I buried my mother, as I buried my father, as I fought through cancer, as I had to get out of an abusive relationship. That numbness, I had to do that to forge ahead. If I fall apart, who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to pay for my car? Where am I going to live? You got a place for me? So that's why I act this way. I care. I care a lot because I'm an empath. I care deeply because I am a social worker. So don't think for 1 second I don't care. I care a lot. But I always think about how to win, how to survive. I did some homework here about this election. Being 54 years old, born 1970, my first memories were former President Gerald Ford, starting off wrong. Of course, I remember former President Jimmy Carter, who I think is probably 100 years old. Then we had former President Ronald Reagan, which I never understood because he was a former actor. I didn't understand how he became president. And I was a young girl, but I was still kind of miffed. Then we had George H.W. Bush. Then we had, who served 2 terms. Ronald Reagan served 2 terms. Clinton, who served 2 terms, and you already know about that big scandal. The second, George W. Bush, who served 2 terms. And of course, former President Barack Obama, who made history and served 2 terms. Former President Donald Trump. And now we currently have Biden, which it's been under some unusual circumstances that he had to kind of step to the side. And so we actually hit a perfect storm with having to have him push Kamala Harris forward, our vice president, as a nominee for the presidential election. Every president inherits what the former president had. When former President Barack Obama was elected, he inherited an economy that was emerging, but we know what happened in 2008, and he inherited this stuff. We know what Joe Biden inherited. COVID hit. Millions of people died from COVID, and some of the people I'm speaking to is somebody that was in your family passed away from this. I'm still hearing about it. Somebody told me recently of a family member that passed from COVID. There was nothing done. It was made a mockery of. It was a joke. Even people from former President Donald Trump's campaign died from COVID, attending his rallies. So currently, the unemployment is low But we know the economy is staggering. All those stocks are up. I'm just showing you. What's going on now. We're not ready for a lady president. That's why I'm a little bit not shocked. And I tried to prepare some people. I was like, he may win again. Because I know what's up. So that's why they always say, stay woke. We live in a world where money talks and BS walks. And people want to follow money. And they're upset over this economy. And they think that former President Donald Trump is the answer. They don't care about his tariff policies. They don't care that he wants to get rid of immigrants. They don't care about women's rights. All they care about is a staggering economy, and they need him to fix it. So you tell me what president that you know. Now, I just gave you the whole list of presidents from since I've been born. I did not mention Nixon because he was in office when I was born. So we can start with former President Nixon. We know about Watergate. Do we need to do a rundown? That's why you got to know your history. Former President Gerald Ford, former President Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W., Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, currently Biden. What president you know swept in and the economy was fixed in 4 years? I'll wait for it. That's just not how it goes. Every president inherits what the other one left behind. Saddam Hussein was left behind. Osama bin Laden was left behind. And so the current president had to fix that. Am I right or wrong? Can I get a witness? Now, I'm not a political analyst, but I know how to read. How can somebody be hateful, be a convicted felon, and move a country forward? How can someone rally behind that? The veterans are just upset. I read the comments from the veterans. Somebody said I was great to join the military, but after this, no thanks. The scary part is people lied and said, oh, I would never vote for him. But they did. And you don't know who they are. They're your neighbor, they're your co-worker, they're your family member. They voted for him. I don't care about Republican or Democrat. And I've said that before. I have voted for Republican candidates, not presidents, but I have voted for other Republican candidates because it's really not about the party. It's about the policies and what you feel about that candidate. But I can't vote for hate. As a social worker, I fight for injustice. And that's why I became a social worker. I became a domestic violence intern who had to do 40 hours and to get a certificate to fight for women and children that were affected by domestic violence. I worked in a shelter for 1 year for free to fight for this. As a breast cancer advocate, I spent years volunteering and being a spokesperson for American Cancer Society to help uninsured women get free mammograms. So in case they did have cancer, it can be caught at an early stage. This is part of my fighting back. I became a social worker. I left corporate America to fight for mental illness, to fight for depression, to fight for grief. And I'm not going to be ashamed. I cut so many people. They come to me and my hourly rate they can't afford, and I slash it because I want to help these people have mental illness support. I'm taking money out of my house to fight for mental illness. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you what I do as a social worker. I'm really hurting myself. What am I? Not really, because I'm fighting back. I'm giving back. And maybe my cutting my budget a little bit is helping someone have a good day. And these are mothers. These are daughters. These are fathers. These are brothers. These are sisters. These are uncles and aunts that need to be in a clear space so they can run their household. I did this video because I know you're disturbed. I know how you feel, and we need to use this time to process what's happening. But don't get better. Let it move you forward. What can you do to advocate and to do something to push this country in a better direction. Although former President Donald Trump won, he doesn't have to win in your heart. He doesn't have to win in your life, your mind. You can still do more to show, is this what the majority feels about this country? That we hate other races? That we could do crimes and don't pay for them? That we could name call and bully? Today I got to go sit in a circle with immigrant girls from Venezuela, from Mexico, from Ecuador. And I can't tell those babies, you know what, y'all might not be here next year because you may get deported. But I got to sit in that circle and hold a space for them today. That's my job as a social worker. I wrote down notes because I was just going. Don't submerge yourself in negativity and don't keep panicking. Every time something go wrong, I'm noticing some people just freak out. It don't help because you can't think straight when you're in a negative state, when you're in a panic state. If you want to believe in God, you got to rock with God. That's during good times and bad. Ain't no way in hell I would have got through breast cancer if I started going down the tubes. I had to bury my parents and then get up the next day and make it happen. Just like you watching had to bury a parent, had to bury a child, God forbid, and you made it. So don't make this bigger than it needs to be. It's big though. It's a big deal, and it's okay to feel how you feel about it. Let's not minimize it, but we still have to move forward and do what we were put on earth to do. Don't serve man. Don't do that, because now you're giving power, and you don't never want to give your power away. Always keep the power you have. We all have power, believe it or not. Yeah, I can't read some of my writing. I think going forward, we need younger candidates. These older presidents, it's just not working out. And we need candidates that connect with you, connect with me. It shouldn't be about color, it shouldn't be about race, religion, or creed. We need candidates that really want to unite the United States, because we need to change our name pretty soon. Other countries laugh at us. I know somebody went maybe to Italy or somewhere, and they said they were treated kind of bad. I said, why? She said, because Donald Trump is the president. This happened years ago. I was like, what? She said, they hate us. I'm like, oh, yeah. Because when somebody is the president of the United States, they have to do a lot of foreign affairs and patch up relationships that sometimes have been severed for years. Do you remember the relationship we had with Cuba? Former President Barack Obama got that back, reinstated. So it's a lot to be a president. It's not no joke. This is not The Apprentice show or whatever. You fired. No, this is real fucking life. This is real life stuff. And when you vote for these type of people, you putting the country at risk. I get it. The economy was the driver, and people, when their money is affected, they're gonna vote that way. But you can't dismiss the character of that person. Is that what we doing now? But I couldn't be like that. I'd be the biggest. Anyway, again, it was the perfect storm with Joe Biden becoming, ill, or we don't even know what happened really with Joe Biden. He just wasn't fit. But this one is. Don't give up, you all. I just want to do a video. Just keep fighting for what you believe in. It may be on a small scale. Maybe you're not a social worker, but you're a parent. You could do some in your community. You can give back. You can fight for a cause. Don't give up, you all. Don't give up. Because what if our ancestors gave up? We wouldn't even have been able to vote these past few days or past few weeks. We voting on the back. I know I'm voting on the back of my dad and my mother and my ancestors and Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and those people that fought, Rosa Parks. I'm on their backs. And there was also other races that lost their life to fight for civil rights. The time is now to keep fighting. Don't give up. But process what's happening, but don't immerse yourself in it where you get depressed. You still got to think about your health now. Come on now, you all. I get it. I'm with you all. It's been a trying night, but I'm gonna make today a good day because I am alive. And what I just saw on a video, good morning, Jesus. Start your day like that. Good morning, Jesus. Tammy C. Walker signing off. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.